Hello again from Metro Manila, the Philippines, Southeastern Asia. This is my brief and selective summary of news headlines found on the Cable News Network's website. As always, I declare at the outset of this news video that I do not intend to infringe on any copyrights. These headlines are at least mostly for November the 20th, 2018. The invention of white genocide in South Africa. A group of white nationalist South Africans are prepping for a race war. They see Trump as a ray of hope. The South Africans pushing the white genocide myth. Opinion: what we don't get about the far right. Rectifying injustices, the farmers atoning for sins of apartheid. What to know, land redistribution debate explained. Twitter spat, South Africa slams Trump's land reform tweet. Reform looms. Proponents say it will unlock economic potential. Critics disagree. Well, at issue is the fact that during the more than 4 decades of apartheid, when the physical separation of the 4 so-called races, whites, blacks, Indians, and coloreds, was the racist white government's ultimate goal. Many blacks were pushed into infertile regions of South Africa, into so-called black homelands, and others were treated as essentially foreigners or second, third, or fourth class citizens. Traditionally, most white South Africans of Dutch origin, called Boers, from the Dutch word boer, which means farmer, also called Afrikaners. Traditionally, most of them were farmers. Of course, by the early 21st century, most are earning their living either as industrial employees or increasingly as service industries employees, including high-tech industries employees. But some still live in the countryside and on those farms. And despite the 24 years and counting of multiracial democracy in South Africa, despite the increasing economic, educational, professional, and other social opportunities for the country's black majority, still the South African blacks are, on average, clearly poorer than the white South Africans. And some desperately poor black South Africans are tempted to steal money from these white farmers in the remote rural areas because they assume that the white farmers actually have a lot of money. And, well, probably on average, compared to these poor and black South Africans, they do. And they then organize these attacks. Well, probably not all of them are that well organized. And the victims include, of course, white South African farmers and their families, and also to some extent non-white, including black farm workers. And so far, probably under 5,000 whites have died as a result of these attacks. However, compared to, for example, the Rohingya people's fate in Myanmar, the fate of many Christians in the Muslim-majority federal states of Nigeria, including those kidnappings of Christian children and teenagers from schools, and the ongoing persecution of Christians in Sudan and possibly even in South Sudan and in Eritrea and so forth. This is not, compared to those literally bloody attacks, this is not yet, at least, a genocide. It is, of course, a spate of killings, but the Boers have one luxury that many poor South Africans don't have. If they find living on the farms either inconvenient or dangerous or both, they can move away. They have, in many cases, probably most cases, enough money to move either to the cities or then to those countries in the rest of the world where they possibly have family members, or in any case they have more security and economic opportunities than in South Africa. But let's move on. Of course, I'm not belittling that every life lost because of deliberate violence is every life too many, but we should put the so-called genocide or potential genocide of white South African farmers in an international perspective and see that compared to many other killings or series of homicides, it's not one of the worst ones, even proportionately. Ivanka Trump used personal account for emails about government business. Trump's military insults are piling up. Judge blocks White House from denying asylum claims. Child bride auctioned off on Facebook. Spain threatens Brexit deal over Gibraltar. New threat in California, fires rain. US holiday week begins with fatal shootings. Teen race driver undergoes operation to repair spine following horrific crash. Nissan allegedly funded Rio home for accused chairman. North Korean defector shares startling insights. Finns mock Trump's fire claims about raking forests, and rather say that Finns rake leaves a lot. Drone footage shows wildfire devastation. Japan's moonshot for space-traveling billionaire. Next Mars landing site treacherously rugged. What has Trump done for the military? What it takes for women to be promoted. Marathon runner loses race after being handed national flag. Beautiful new star is doomed to explode.